Claire Bennett felt a chill creep up her spine. Mark was different, distant. His eyes, once filled with warmth, were now cold, calculating. He was a stranger in her home. They used to be happy. At least Claire thought they were. Now, Mark flinched at her touch. He recoiled from her kisses. He was a ghost, haunting their once joyful existence. He was always busy, working late. His phone was glued to his ear. The man she loved was gone, replaced by a hollow shell. A knot of dread tightened in her stomach. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. Claire couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister lurked beneath the surface of Mark's recent behavior. Her intuition screamed at her, warning her of an unseen danger. She had to find out the truth. One night, while Mark slept, Claire decided to search for answers. She went through his things, her heart pounding in her chest. In his briefcase, she found it. A small black device. A camera. Panic seized her. Why would Mark have a hidden camera? Her mind raced, piecing together his odd behavior. The late nights, the hushed phone calls, the coldness in his eyes, it all pointed to something sinister. Claire's blood ran cold. This wasn't just infidelity. This was something far more sinister. This was about control, manipulation, something dark and dangerous. Driven by fear and a desperate need for answers, Claire began to investigate. She discovered online forums discussing hidden cameras, their uses sending chills down her spine. The truth, she realized, was far more terrifying than she could have ever imagined. Sleep became a distant memory as Claire delved deeper into the rabbit hole. Days blurred into nights as she tirelessly pieced together the puzzle of Mark's deceit. The internet, her only ally, provided a terrifying glimpse into a world she never knew existed. Then she found it. A hidden folder on Mark's computer, its contents making her gasp in horror. Insurance policies, bank statements, and a chillingly detailed plan. A plan that involved her demise. Mark was planning to kill her. The realization hit Claire like a physical blow. He was going to stage an accident, collect the insurance money, and walk away a free man. Her own husband, the man she loved, was planning to take her life. Anger, raw and consuming, surged through Claire. She wouldn't be another victim. She would fight back. She would expose Mark for the monster he truly was. Fear warred with a steely determination in Claire's heart. She had to be careful, calculating. One wrong move and her life would be forfeit. She had to play along, act normal, all the while gathering evidence against the man she once called her husband. She started leaving false trails, planting seeds of doubt in Mark's mind. She pretended to be oblivious to his plans, all the while documenting his every move. Every whispered phone call, every suspicious meeting, every lie he told was meticulously recorded. Her days were a delicate dance on a razor's edge. One misstep, one flicker of suspicion from Mark could spell her doom. She was living a nightmare, but she refused to let it consume her. Claire was fighting for her life, her every action a calculated move in a deadly game of cat and mouse. She would not be Mark's victim. She would be his downfall. Mark suggested a romantic dinner, a chance to rekindle their love. It was supposed to be a night of romance, a night to remember. The restaurant was cozy, with dim lighting and soft music playing in the background, setting the perfect scene for what should have been a beautiful evening. Claire knew it was a ruse, a chance for him to put his plan into action. She had seen the signs, the subtle shifts in his behavior, the way his eyes would darken when he thought she wasn't looking. She had to be careful, vigilant. She agreed, a plan of her own forming in her mind. She had spent countless nights thinking, strategizing, preparing for this moment. She knew she had to play her cards right, to outsmart him at his own game. This was it, the culmination of weeks of fear and careful planning. Every step she took, every word she spoke had been leading up to this night. She had to be strong, to face the monster that had been haunting her dreams. Claire dressed with meticulous care, each detail scrutinized. Her outfit was chosen to perfection, not too flashy, not too plain. She wanted to look confident, in control, even if she felt anything but. She was playing a role, projecting an image of normalcy that belied the terror gnawing at her insides. Her smile was forced, her laughter hollow, but she had to keep up the charade. She met his eyes across the candle-lit table, her stomach churning with a potent cocktail of fear and disgust. The candlelight flickered, casting eerie shadows on his face, making him look even more sinister. He looked at her with feigned affection, his touch sending shivers down her spine. His hand felt cold, clammy, a stark contrast to the warmth of the room. She had to resist the urge to pull away, to scream. He was a monster in disguise, and she was playing the part of the unsuspecting victim. But she wasn't unsuspecting. She knew exactly what he was capable of, and she was ready to fight back. As the evening progressed, so did Mark's facade of normalcy. He laughed, he joked, he acted like the perfect partner, but Claire could see through the cracks in his mask. He spoke of their future, of their happiness, his words dripping with false promises. He painted a picture of a life that could never be, a life built on lies and deceit. Claire played along, her smile a carefully crafted mask, her eyes reflecting the chilling truth he couldn't see. She knew this was just the beginning, that the real battle was yet to come. But for now, she had to keep up the act, to survive the night. The drive home was tense, the air thick with unspoken words and simmering deception. The silence between them was deafening, each second stretching into an eternity. Mark's plan was in motion. Claire could feel it. Every glance he threw her way, every slight twitch of his fingers on the steering wheel, screamed of his hidden agenda. He pulled over at a secluded spot, a familiar sense of dread washing over Claire. The isolation of the place amplified her fears, making her heart race even faster. This was it, the moment she had been dreading and preparing for. She had rehearsed this scenario in her mind countless times, but now that it was here, the reality was far more terrifying. Her heart pounded in her chest, her breaths coming in short, sharp gasps. She could feel the adrenaline coursing through her veins, heightening her senses. She had to stay calm, had to see this through. Claire knew that any sign of weakness could be her undoing. She took deep breaths, trying to steady herself. Mark turned to her, a sinister smile playing on his lips. His eyes gleamed with a cold, calculating malice that sent shivers down her spine. He launched into a rehearsed speech, his words a chilling confirmation of her worst fears. Each sentence was meticulously crafted to break her spirit, to make her feel powerless. He was going to kill her. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks, but she couldn't afford to let fear paralyze her. He actually believed she was oblivious, that his plan was foolproof. But Claire was ready. She had spent weeks gathering evidence, preparing for this very moment. With a swift movement, she produced the evidence she had gathered. The hidden camera, the insurance documents, the proof of his deceit, the recordings of his phone calls. Each piece of evidence was a nail in the coffin of his carefully laid plans. Mark's face contorted in a mixture of shock and rage, his carefully constructed facade crumbling before her eyes. The power dynamic had shifted, and Claire was no longer the prey. Panic turned to desperation as Mark lunged for Claire, his true colors finally revealed. But Claire was ready for him. She fought back with a ferocity fueled by adrenaline and a primal instinct for survival. The struggle was brief, ending with Mark pinned to the ground, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and disbelief. The sound of approaching sirens filled the air, a symphony of justice breaking through the night. The police arrived to find Mark restrained, his face pale with the dawning realization of his imminent downfall. Claire, shaken but resolute, handed over the evidence she had painstakingly gathered. It was over. She was safe. Mark's arrest was swift, his protest drowned out by the weight of the evidence against him. As he was led away in handcuffs, Claire felt a strange sense of detachment. The man she loved, the man she thought she knew, was gone, replaced by a monster unmasked. The trial was a blur, a necessary formality in the long and arduous process of seeking justice. Mark, stripped of his charm and charisma, was a shadow of his former self. He was found guilty on all charges, his fate sealed by the web of deceit he had woven. Claire watched as he was sentenced, his eyes devoid of remorse. The judge's words echoed in the courtroom, a chilling reminder of the danger she had escaped. But amidst the relief and vindication, there was also a profound sense of loss. The life she knew, the future she envisioned, was gone. In its place was a void, a gaping wound that refused to heal. The betrayal cut deep, leaving scars that ran far deeper than any physical wound. But Claire was a survivor. She had stared into the abyss and emerged stronger, her spirit unbroken. She had faced her fears and emerged victorious, her resolve tempered in the fires of adversity. The road to healing was long and arduous, paved with therapy sessions, sleepless nights, and moments of deep introspection. Each session was a step forward, yet the nights seemed endless, filled with haunting memories and a sense of isolation. The constant fear that lingered like a shadow was her unwelcome companion, always there, always present. It was a fear that crept into her thoughts, making her question her every move, her every decision. But Claire refused to let fear control her life. She looked in the mirror each day, taking deep breaths, reminding herself of her strength and determination. She was more than her fears, more than her past. She rebuilt her life piece by shattered piece. Organizing her home became a metaphor for organizing her mind. Writing in her journal was a way to process her thoughts, and fixing broken items was symbolic of mending her own broken spirit. She found solace in the company of friends and family, their laughter and love a balm to her wounded soul. Their unwavering support was a beacon of light in her darkest hours, guiding her back to herself. Their presence was a constant reminder that she was not alone, that she was loved and valued. She rediscovered lost passions, hobbies that once brought her joy, and new interests that sparked her curiosity. Her spirit slowly healing with each passing day. Painting allowed her to express emotions she couldn't put into words. Gardening connected her to the earth, and yoga helped her find inner peace and balance. The world felt different now, more vibrant, more alive. The cityscape at dawn was a symbol of new beginnings, and her walks in the park were moments of reflection and gratitude. Everything seemed sharper, more defined. She noticed the small details in nature, the beauty in everyday moments, and the vastness of the city skyline. It was as if she was seeing the world through new eyes. She had glimpsed the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of normalcy, and it had changed her. The dark alleys and ominous clouds were reminders of the challenges she had faced. She was more cautious, more aware, but also more appreciative of the precious fragility of life. Her serious expression was one of determination, not defeat. She understood the value of each moment, each breath. Holding fragile objects reminded her of her own fragility, but also of her resilience. Her soft smile was a testament to her inner peace. Claire emerged from the ashes of her past, stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. Her confidence was unshakable, her determination unwavering. She pushed her physical limits, lifting weights, climbing mountains, and running towards her future with a newfound vigor. Each challenge she overcame was a victory, a step towards reclaiming her life. She carried the scars of her ordeal, not as a reminder of her pain, but as a testament to her strength. Each scar told a story of survival, of battles fought and won. She looked at old photos, not with sadness, but with pride. Her scars were symbols of her journey, her growth. Her determined expression was one of hope and courage. She stood tall, confident, holding on to symbols of her strength and resilience. She was a survivor, a warrior, and she would let no one, least of all a man who had tried to take her life, define her future. The sunset was a promise of new beginnings, and as she walked away, she embraced the endless possibilities that lay ahead.